The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Commander Lisa Vex slammed her datapad onto the polished obsidian table. Around her, representatives from 7 different species shifted uncomfortably in their seats, their various appendages twitching with unease. 3 months, Lisa said, her voice cutting through the tension like a plasma torch through hull plating. 3 months we've been sitting here with a crippled fleet, and your best engineers haven't made a single breakthrough. The Kralith ambassador, a towering insectoid with iridescent carapace, clicked his mandibles defensively. The human is being unreasonable. The quantum drive systems are beyond repair. The technology that created them has been lost for millennia. Even our most advanced. Save it, Lisa interrupted, running a hand through her short dark hair. I've heard every excuse. What I haven't heard is a solution. She stood, her alliance uniform crisp despite the endless diplomatic sessions. Outside the massive viewport, the wounded vessels of the combined fleet hung in orbit like broken toys. 47 ships, each one carrying thousands of souls, all rendered immobile by a cascading failure in their ancient propulsion cores. The war with the Devourers had pushed them to the edge of known space, and now they were stranded, vulnerable, and slowly running out of time. There is one option, the Velocian delegate spoke up, her crystalline form refracting the chamber's light into rainbow patterns. Though you'll not like it. Lisa turned. I'm listening. There's a human. On the mining colony of Epsilon 7 they call him Vin Diesel. Several delegates groaned. The Kralith ambassador actually laughed, a disturbing chittering sound. The derelict Lisa asked, incredulous. You want to bring in some backwater scrap merchant to fix quantum drives that stumped your top scientists? He's more than that, the Velocian insisted. Before the war, he was an engineer with Terran Deep Space, worked on experimental drives. But there was an incident, he went rogue, the Kralith interrupted, stole proprietary technology, disappeared into the outer colonies. He's a criminal. Lisa considered this. They were desperate, stranded light years from any major hub. With the Devourers potentially regrouping for another assault, pride was a luxury they couldn't afford. Get him here, she said. Vin Diesel arrived 3 days later, and he wasn't what Lisa expected. The man who materialized on the transport pad was massive, is at least 6.5 feet of solid muscle, with a shaved head that gleamed under the station's lights. But it was his eyes that caught her attention. Dark, intelligent, and carrying the weight of someone who'd seen too much and said too little. Commander Vex, he rumbled, his voice like distant thunder. You've got a problem. Several, Lisa replied, studying him. He wore a patchwork jumpsuit covered in tool loops and grease stains, and carried a battered case that looked like it had survived atmospheric re-entry. The question is whether you can solve them. Diesel smiled barely. Take me to the drives. They walked through the station's corridors in silence, Lisa acutely aware of the stares from crew members. Word had spread quickly about the mysterious salvager, and speculation ran rampant. When they reached the engineering bay where a damaged quantum core had been transported for analysis, Diesel stopped at the entrance, his eyes widened almost imperceptibly. This is architect tech, he breathed. The architects have been extinct for 3,000 years, Lisa said. These drives are based on recovered technology, reverse-engineered and modified, but the core principles are wrong. Diesel moved forward, circling the massive cylindrical structure that pulsed with dying light. Your engineers have been trying to fix these using modern quantum theory, but the architects didn't think in terms of quantum mechanics. They understood something deeper. He set down his case and opened it. Inside, Lisa glimpsed tools she'd never seen before, instruments that seemed to shimmer with their own internal light. Dimensional harmonics, Diesel continued, running his hands over the drive's surface. The architects didn't move through space. They convinced space to move around them. Subtle difference. Massive implications. Over the next 6 hours, Lisa watched as Diesel worked with an intensity that bordered on obsession. He barely spoke, communicating only in grunts and the occasional muttered calculation. Around him, the station's lead engineers gathered, watching in fascination as he peeled back access panels that had been sealed for centuries and manipulated the drive's crystalline matrix with tools that seemed to respond to thought as much as touch. How do you know all this? Lisa finally asked during a brief break. Diesel didn't look up from his work. The incident your Velocian friend mentioned. I didn't steal technology. I found something, an architect's data cache on a dead world in the Terminus sector. Spent 5 years decoding it. The council wanted to lock it away, classify it, let it gather dust in some archive, so you ran. I preserved it. He finally met her eyes. Knowledge isn't meant to be hoarded, Commander. It's meant to be used, even if it makes you a fugitive, especially then. 48 hours later, the quantum drive flickered to life. The engineering bay erupted in cheers as diagnostic readouts shifted from red to green. The massive core hummed with renewed energy, its crystalline structure glowing, with stable harmonics that sent ripples through the dimensional fabric itself. Lisa felt the vibration through the deck plates, unmistakable pulse of a functioning quantum. Drive one down, Diesel said, wiping his hands on a rag. 46 to go. You can replicate this? Lisa asked. Already uploaded the schematics to your engineering teams, with the right coordination. We can have the entire fleet operational within 2 weeks. The Kraloth ambassador, who had been watching from the observation deck, descended with unusual haste. This is unprecedented. Impossible. It's human, Diesel replied simply. Lisa smiled. She'd heard that phrase before, usually right before humanity did something the rest of the galaxy considered insane. Mr. Diesel, she said formally, the Alliance owes you a debt. Keep it. He closed his case. Just promise me something, Commander. When this war is over, when you've beaten back the Devourers, don't let this knowledge disappear into archives and classified databases. The architects left their legacy for a reason. Maybe it's time we started acting like we deserved it. Lisa extended her hand. You have my word. His grip was firm, calloused from years of manual labor in the harshest environments space had to offer. As Diesel returned to his work, coordinating with engineering teams across the fleet through his datapad, Lisa returned to the observation deck. Through the viewport she could see the first of the repaired vessels beginning to power up, its running lights flickering to life like a constellation being born. The galaxy had underestimated humans before. It was a mistake the Devourers would soon regret. And somewhere in the vast darkness, other architect caches waited to be found.